Hello, welcome to your video on systems of inequalities. In the past we've been learning how to just graph inequalities, and today we're going to put it together and you will be able to solve systems of inequalities by graphing. Two vocabulary words for you. First is a system of inequalities. That's when you have two or more linear inequalities in the same problem, the same situation. Solution for a system of inequalities is an ordered pair that makes all the inequalities in the system true. Often there will be many more than just one answer. The first thing we're going to talk about is graphing systems of inequalities. You have these two inequalities listed here. I'm going to draw the first one in orange and the second one in blue so that you can see the relationships here. The first one is the boundary line of y equals 2x minus 3. So I'm just going to plot that quick. Okay, and then it is a dotted line because it is a less than or equal to sign. And then the boundary line for the second one, we have to get it in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to subtract 2x so that y is by itself. So I'm left with y is greater than negative 2x plus 2. And I'm going to graph that one now. The boundary line would be y equals negative 2x plus 2. And I'm decreasing, so keep that in mind while you're doing this. Okay, and then we have a dotted line here also. You have what looks like this. And then we need to shade our regions. The orange one, y is less than, so it's going to be below. So all of them shaded in orange are the solution. In the blue equation, y is greater than, so it's going to be what is on top for the solution. And the solution, the actual solution to a system is where you see overlap of everything, both colors. And so I'm going to color that yellow, and that is this region here. So the system of the solution to your system is anything in the yellow shaded area. And then to check your answers, you're going to want to pick something in the yellow to make sure that it works. Something easy is fine. I'm going to pick the point 2, 0 because that's where it crosses. You could pick 3, 0, you could pick anything, but 2, 0 does fit in that region. So if I solve this and plug it back in, 0 is less than 2 times 2 minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. 0 is less than 1, so that is true. And then I can check it with the other equation as well. It would be 0 is greater than negative, I should go back into the original problem. 2 times 2 plus 0 is greater than 2. So 4 is greater than 2. That is also true, so I know I have solved it correctly. Alright, let's talk about how to write an inequality system now that you know how to graph them. The first thing you're going to do is just figure out what the boundary lines are for each of them. The first thing, I'm going to use red for this one. So we can see that it crosses right here, which is the point 2, 3, 5. And then it's a slope here of down 1 and over 2 every time, which means my slope is negative 1/2 x. And then I have my y, and then my shading for the red line is below, so I know that it has to be less than. And then the blue line, the y-intercept is at negative 1. The slope is up 1, 2, and over 2, or up 1 and over 1, which is just x. And then the shading for this one was above, so y is greater than, and then we have a solid line, so it's greater than or equal to. So the graph here shows the intersection of these two linear inequalities. Now it is your turn. Question 1, you are graphing the system. Please be neat when you're drawing this. Make sure the shading of the solution area is very clearly marked, whether that's darker or another color, however you decide. And then number 2, you are going to write the system of the linear inequalities for the graph below. The green area is the solution area on that one. Alright, pause the video and then check in when you are done. Alright, here are the answers. In orange is the answers to number 2, and number 1, you can read the graph. It is the darker shaded region is the solution. Alright, you have reached the end of your video. Thank you for watching. Keep it real.